see everyone here. Let me see if I can get myself pulled up on the Facebook page so I can read comments. Um, Let me see if I can get this going today on my Facebook page so I can. Yeah, there I go right there. Let me turn that volume on. Okay, there we go. And we want to click on that. Okay, where are my comments? Okay. All right, then. We'll go ahead and we will get started this evening with the Let's Talk. Hello, Beverly Christian Jordan. Thank you for joining me tonight. Anyway, welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk. I am your host, Julia Thomas, affectionately known as Juju. And we are coming to you live from the house that Juju built, Juju's Dollhouse. Each week here on Let's Talk, we will discuss current events and their impact on the Black community. We will also highlight some local Black owned businesses, some local entrepreneurs and local artisans, and some upcoming events which will give small businesses an opportunity to showcase their products. Let's Talk is created to be a positive, uplifting, and informative discussion. All constructive opinions are welcome as we must learn to listen and to consider the opinions of others, even if we don't necessarily agree with them. Now, this is not a place to tear down anyone, but it's intended to uplift and enlighten. So, if your comments are not coming from a place of love, and you're not meant to uplift, then please find you another forum for those comments. Please note that any opinions that I might express on this broadcast are strictly that, my opinions. This is not intended to be a news show, but we will try our best to steer clear of gossip and things that we know for a fact are not true. Also here on Let's Talk, you will be able to see new designs by Juju for you. We will reveal our new doll, designer dolls, as they are released. And I will also offer other small businesses the opportunity to showcase their products during the broadcast. I hope that this is a safe place and that everyone will feel comfortable sharing their opinions. Now, just a little bit about the host. Of course, my name is Julia Juju. I am a sinner saved by grace. Every good and perfect part of me comes from God, and therefore I have to give him the praise and the glory at every opportunity. My motto is I am walking by faith, inspiring hope and showing love all along the way. Finally, I am a state employee, and as a result of that, there are some topics that I must steer clear of. All of that being said, let's talk. Alrighty then. So, tonight's topic is guns and their impact on the Black community. Alrighty. Hey, Vinny E. Lewis and Ashley Milford, Diane Whitlow. Thank you guys for joining me on tonight's edition of Let's Talk. So, first of all, I want to emphasize that we're not here to criticize anyone for your opinions, and we are here to openly and objectively discuss this issue. All right, and so I will start off. Hey, Jeffrey, how are you doing? I'll start off with some nationwide statistical data concerning the ownership and usage of guns in these United States. Hello, Stephanie Lee. In the United States, there are 120 guns for every 100 citizens. That's right. for every 100 citizens, there are 120 guns. And the gun ownership breaks down racially along these lines. 30%, 36% of the guns are owned by white Americans. 24% of the guns are owned by black Americans. 15% are owned by Hispanic Americans. 72% of the gun owners in America say their reason for owning a gun is for self-protection, and 32% of all Americans live in a household where there are guns, where there is at least one gun. Alrighty, and so some other statistics: between 2019 and 2020, gun deaths nationwide increased about 35%. So that equals about 45,000 people. And gun deaths in the United States are disproportionately affect the black community. Now, I want to say that I did look to try to see the positive impacts of guns, and I found one study that said about 1.5 million deaths. Yeah, 1.5 million deaths are prevented, or lives are saved each year because of the presence of a gun. I will say that the data in the study is something that some experts question the validity of. Some believe in it wholeheartedly. Some do not. Some say that it is drastically underestimates the number of lives that are saved because of the presence of a gun. So we want to say that as well. And then finally, because we are here in Alabama, I'm here in Alabama, I just want to let us know a bit of the gun laws here in Alabama. As of January 1st, 2023, anyone 18 years or older who has not had their right to bear arms restricted may carry a handgun without a permit, with no background check, and with no safety training. This does include open carry as well as concealed carry. So you can carry it openly, like people walk around on the hip, but now you can also, the open carry law was in effect prior to the January 1st, 2023, but January 1st, 2023, you can conceal carry, which means you can have it hidden in your purse or on your person or in your car. It doesn't have to be out in the open, and you don't have to have any type of permit or a background check in order to carry the gun. And that is what's going on here in the state of Alabama. Now, in order to purchase a gun, in order to purchase a long gun, an individual has to be at least 18 years of age. And we know that the long gun includes our shotguns and rifles, which includes our assault rifles like the AK, AR-47s, and the AK, whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about, the assault rifles. Okay, yeah, I can tell I'm not just a connoisseur of guns, but the assault rifles, you can purchase those at 18 years of age. And then you must be 21 years old to purchase a handgun from a licensed firearm dealer. So let's talk about guns and their impact on us in the black community. And let me get some of you guys' opinions. First of all, I will tell you, I'll be honest with you. I do believe in a person's right to bear arms. Okay, I do believe in that. I believe a person should be able to have a shotgun to do hunting. My father was an avid hunter. He loved hunting. When we were growing up, when we were little, he would go out Saturday, stay out all day hunting. And then he would come home every Saturday and be totally dehydrated, having cramps and just to the point where he's laying in the bed hollering, can't move. My mom trying to work the cramps out of his legs, but he got back up next Saturday morning during hunting season and went back hunting because he loved hunting. And he loved his shotguns, and he kept his shotguns, and he could use his shotguns until the day that I finally took the shotguns away from him. And we won't talk about that because that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so I believe in that. I believe a person should be able to have a pistol. If you feel like you need that for your personal safety, your personal protection, a handgun, I believe that you should be able to have your handgun um, for your protection or for whatever reason you want to have it in your home, on your person. Where I get a little foggy at is with the assault weapons. I get a little, that right there is where I personally get a little hesitant about ownership of guns, the assault weapons. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the gun control laws here in the United States. What are your opinions on those gun control laws? Do you think that they are strong enough? Do you think that they are too strong? What's your opinion on that? Now, I think, like I said, here in Alabama, and this is just me, you can have a gun, any type gun that you would like if you're 18 years or older, and you don't have to have any type permit, and you don't have to have any type background check. You don't have to have any type of gun safety. Hello, Mr. Jason Vincent. I'm so glad that you could join us this evening. I'm so interested in your perspective on this because I know, like I said, what my opinions are, but they are just my opinions. And I would just, I'm interested in hearing your perspective. So what do you think about the gun control laws? Like I said, they are really very limited. As a matter of fact, Alabama also has a Second Amendment defense law that's in place that says anything, any law that the federal government um, institutes that prohibits um, the use or prohibits a person's right to bear arms, then the local law enforcement is prohibited from enforcing that law. So that's here in Alabama. So what do you think, Duchess? I see you said that you think there should be enhanced background checks for gun purchases, and I'm gonna say that I agree with you. Um, and my I guess my real concern, like I said, are the assault weapons, but also those illegal guns that are on that people can purchase when you have 7 and 8 year old kids having guns, and they have bought these guns and they go to school with the guns. Some of them end up shooting classmates, shooting friends, shooting teachers, hurting themselves, hurting one of their siblings. A lot of that bothers me, but Alabama's gun control or lack thereof bothers me as well. So, yes, some people who are known to have mental illnesses still go in to purchase guns. Exactly. They still go in to purchase guns. And you see that a lot of times in some of these mass shootings. Um, that person has been known to the family, and even been had interaction with law enforcement where law enforcement was called. We know this person has mental illness, uh, but they have been able to go immediately after these interactions with law enforcement and go purchase guns. Red flag laws. What do you think about red flag laws? Jason said Alabama is such a rural state. I can see why it's so lax, but there has to have some of the background check unless you're buying at a gun show. Where in Alabama, there's no, you don't have to do that. You can just go into your local Walmart and get you a rifle, or go to any legal gun dealer if you're 18 years or older and buy a shotgun or a long gun. If you're 21 years or older and buy a pistol. um, and that one bothers me too. Why is it 18 for a shotgun and 21, or a long gun, excuse me, because that includes the assault rifles. Should an 18-year-old be able to buy a AR-15, AK 47? Should someone, what do you think about that? Should someone 18 years old be able to legally purchase those assault weapons? Should any citizen legally own an assault rifle? Give me your opinions on that. 25 is an appropriate age. I think 25 would be good because that's when the brain is fully developed. That's what we know. And we know most of the mass shooters, especially those that go into these stores and schools and shoot up the place, most of them are under the age of 25, and most of them have purchased these weapons legally. I used to be more opposed to gun ownership, but I know many people do own guns responsibly, and I know how to use and store them. And like I said in the beginning, I'm not opposed to gun ownership at all. Especially like I said, my dad had guns when we were growing up. He was an avid hunter. We never touched his guns, point blank, period. Unless it was New Year's Eve, and then he was holding you up because he's like, "Good, it's gonna turn you over. Got a kick." Other than that, no, we didn't touch his guns. Um, um, and then I know a lot of people, and I ain't gonna call no names, but there's one lady I know who walk around with her gun all the time. Lord have mercy. We was at the church feeding ministry and the pistol hit the floor. And I'm like, Jesus, you got your pistol with you, I see. But yeah, so I know people, and I have no problem with that. What I have problems with is not being responsible. You're allowing your children to have access to these things. And then the second one is, I still struggle with the assault weapons. I struggle with the need to own an assault weapon. Andrew says that there are some elementary schools that don't have security at the door. We have become slack with security. It is a shame. It's sad, Andrew, but we probably need metal detectors at every door of every school, because, of course, those who have a mind to do evil, to do harm, they're going to prey on soft targets. They're going to look at um, what they consider to be a soft target. I have some numbers for you, and I'm just going to throw those numbers out and see if you know what they represent as it relates to guns. Joy said one reason I stopped teaching at the local junior college was security concerns. Yeah, and um, none of the uh, none of the schools in Opelika have security. and it's terrifying. And that is bad that you have to worry about when you're sending your child to school if they're gonna get shot, if somebody's gonna come up in there uh that is disgruntled for whatever reason, mad with the world, and shoot up the school, or if another student gonna come in there with a gun that their parent may have carelessly left unlocked and loaded and shoot, or showing off the gun, shoot somebody, or mad, they could be angry and shoot. It's sad that you have to worry about that. Edgar Vincent, Vinny E says he would be interested to know the opinions of the audience about there being guns allowed in church. Churches are a soft target. Do you think people should have their guns in church? Now, I went to a church one Saturday. They were having a program, and the pastor was walking around the church, and he was engaged in the program. Engaged, we were vendors at that time, and he was engaged with the vendors, but he had his pistol on him, and it was open, and it was there, and he wasn't trying to hide it or conceal it. A lady was shot to death outside the building I used to teach at. Yes. um yeah, her husband came and murdered her, and her mother, I think. We have security where I attend church. Not even on the days of prayer, which we pray on Saturday, we have security. And you need that, sadly but true. People target the churches. I mean, I know of churches local right here that have been targeted or have been threatened to say, okay, well, if you go into this church event, you better wear your bulletproof vest, with the inference that we're going to come to your church and we're going to shoot up your church. Um, but anyway, 120%. What does that number represent? 120%. Anybody have any idea? Hello, Edna Dowdale. How are you? Thank you for joining me tonight on Let's Talk. 120%. Anybody have any idea what that number represents? Jason says he's not against the AR-15 platform. Every AR-15 isn't the same. You can get an Army hunting round in an AR-15 platform. 3.06, 0.308, 0.50, 0.350. These are all traditional hunting rounds that you can get an AR for. Most of the magazines for these type of ARs only have, what do you say, 6 to 10 rounds, as opposed to the .223 most mass shooters preference, which you can get 100 round drums so far. So it's about the type of AR. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Jason. See, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn and be educated, because I had no idea. All I hear is AR-15. I think mass shooter. I think they got in my little small mind, I think they got unlimited bullets in them. So it depends on the type of AR-15 that you have, and so thank you for sharing that with us. Um, right, Jason. That's why I am happy you stopped by too, because you have this information that share with us so that we are more educated. And when we have these discussions, we can have them a more knowledge based, a more educated opinion, an informed opinion about the things that we are saying. But 120% is the increase in the number of Black teenagers who have committed suicide with guns in the past decade. And of course, for me, that is not necessarily a gun issue. The fact that a teenager wants to commit suicide is a whole nother topic for another discussion. But the availability or the accessibility of the handgun there for the teenager to commit suicide. 648. What does that number represent? 648. What does that number represent? And while you think about that, let's talk about the red flag laws. Does everybody know what red flag laws are? Red flag laws are laws that allow a law enforcement to come in and remove guns from an individual who is perceived by his family and deemed by a court. You have to go to a court for this, to be a danger to himself or others. So, what do you think about red flag laws? Do you think that there should be more red flag laws? Do you think that that is overstepping a person's bound? Do you think that that is infringing on their Second Amendment right? What do you think about the red flag laws? The one thing that I will say is that the red flag laws are very rarely enforced. So, what do you guys think about the red flag laws? Do we need more of that? Is that infringing on a person's Second Amendment rights? Do we need better enforcement of the red flag laws? Anybody? Hey out there, Thomas, how are you doing? You got your pistol with you? um so what do you think about the red flag laws? Anybody have any opinion on the red flag laws? I personally think, this is my opinion, that they're good. However, the fact that they are rarely enforced makes them really of no effect. Okay, and we have all heard about instances where a person has had law enforcement called on them. Um, I can't remember the most recent event where the guy has the red flag laws. Um, Althea said, "Yes, I do have my pistol." But anyway, the had his weapons removed from his home, and I think they were like knives. I don't even know if there were any guns involved. If the guns were even there, but I know there was some machetes and other things. But then they were given back to him within a matter of days, and of course he went on to perpetrate a mass shooting. The red flag laws make me nervous. They can be good. This is Duchess, but they can also subjectively unfairly applied to particular segments of society. And that is true, and that is very interesting because that's what I wanted to talk about too. The open carry laws. Do you think that open carry law uh, can jeopardize us as African Americans, knowing that 1,060 is the number of people shot and killed by police officers in 2022? Do you think the open carry laws, the fact that you can walk around with a gun on you, everybody see that you have that gun, does it put our young men, even us as just everyday citizens, does it put us in greater danger to have our guns out visible? Jason says he's all for the red flag laws, but we know why they don't enforce them. Okay. Um. So. Uh. So the red flag laws and the open carry. does the open carry, it concerns me because I think, I'm terrified, and I tell my nephews this all the time. A police officer sees you, black young black man with a gun, that's a license for him to kill. That's how I feel about the open carry. Somebody else give me your opinion on open carry. um Althea says she thinks that you should have to have a permit to carry a gun. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think there should be some real background checks on people, not just a cursory glance. And like I said, now in Alabama there are no background checks. You can just go and purchase a gun. I don't know I didn't see if there was a waiting period on the time it takes from you to purchase to obtain the gun. I didn't see that in any of the laws, but you don't have to have a permit or anything. Um, Jason said it defeats the purpose of carrying if everyone knows you're carrying. So you're not a fan of the open carry. I am. I'm just, and let me tell you, I worked in Kmart for 20 plus years, and that was before, of course, all this open carry came in Alabama. But I am one who, I go in Kroger or grocery store, wherever, and I see a person with their pistol on their hip. I am inclined to leave the store because I don't know what that person has on their mind. And I know people can conceal weapons just like they can have them out. Um, but if I were still working at Kmart at this time of open carry, every time I see somebody walk in the store and they got their pistol on their hip, I would be terrified. Because you never know what a person has going on in their head, and there they are with the gun right there, and you see them with the pistol. Um, Joan said, "Why do you say so? Please tell me more." Um, and, uh, you're responding to Jason as far as the it defeats the purpose. The open carry defeats the purpose, but like I said, it terrifies me. Um, and Beverly Clearston said, I think open carry makes our young men walking targets. If someone is maliciously watching and claims they thought that their life was in danger, um, and wait a minute, yeah, let me get back to where I was. Um, if somebody is watching, targets. If someone is, yeah, let me get back. And then you and say that they thought they were going to shoot them. Guess what's going to happen? He'll be a statistic. That's what frightens me about the open carry, because we all know, you know, despite what some may say, we are not looked at the same. We're not, the young white man can carry a gun all day. They can walk down the streets and they can have their ARs and their AKs, and they can have the one with all the bullets and everything, and nobody says anything. He's just fine. He's just exercising his Second Amendment right to bear arms. One of our young men, God forbid, two of them walk down the street together. They got an open carry, and we have seen it in protests where um, black men walking with their guns are accosted by the police or detained by the police because they have the weapon, and white men, young men in the same protest, uh, are left to freely roam around with their guns. That is just a reality. So that is what I think about the open carry. Jason, did you have any more on why you say it defeats the purpose of having the gun if everybody sees it? Um, Uh, I don't know that I particularly am a fan of the open carry because I do think it puts our people in more danger of being detained or even killed by a police officer or even someone else like Beverly said. Um, you say, I'm afraid, I had fear for my life because they had a gun and you had a gun, but they had a gun, so I'm scared for my life, and so I killed them. I think that just puts us in danger. Um, 16.5 million. Anybody know what that number represents? 16.5 million. 16.5 million. That is the number of Americans who legally purchased guns in 2022. So if you know if that's the number that legally purchased them, it was a lot more that didn't. And I agree with you, Jason, that to have that gun out does draw negative attention, and to have it showing and to have it on your hip. We never did hear anybody say anything about the guns in church. What do you think about guns in church? Um, what do you think about armed security guards? We know that people have more than once come up into churches shooting, and we all recall the one incident where a parishioner had a gun and was able to shoot the gunman, um, and prevent more deaths. If there's a shooter in the same place as me and he sees my gun because I'm open carry, but I don't see his gun because he's trying to ambush, who is he going to shoot first? Yeah. And Jason said he takes his gun with him to church every Sunday. And Jason, I think more and more, I think that we need armor bearers at church. I really do. It's a sad thing that you are in that mindset. Althea said she doesn't have a problem and with it, and with the guns in church. I don't, and like I said, more and more I think that we need armor bearers in church. I think more parishioners have them than we are aware of. Probably do, Beverly, because I think probably, well, this says there's 120 guns for every 100 Americans. So I think I'm probably about the only person that does not have a gun. And I guess I shouldn't say that on Facebook. Might make myself vulnerable, but I don't, because I have a lot of children around my house, and I would hate for one of them to get access to a gun that I may have and harm themselves or someone else. And then the other thing is, I feel like I got 10,000 angels surrounding me, so I feel like I'm very protected. I have not been in a situation, and that's probably it. I have not been in a situation where I felt, oh my God, I need a gun to protect myself, and that's most probably why I don't have one. And a lot of people have had experiences that I have not had, and so that being said, I understand. Um, Jason said, yeah, there are several of us at church that are armed, but it's not open carry. That would be distracting from the word. Yeah, but I'm telling you, Jason, and Duchess can vouch for me. The pastor at this church had his pistol on him. He had it on him. But I have been in a place where someone has threatened to come and shoot up that place, but but I didn't feel I still, even at that point, I didn't feel like I was in danger. that pastor carries his gun always, and his people knows it. And if we used to have a pastor that used to always say, ladies, get your guns and have it close to your door in case somebody comes in and tries to attack you while you're at home. And so, you know, Jason said that pastor said no weapons formed. As a female, you probably need a gun when you're alone and walking out of Hobby Lobby. Why Hobby Lobby, Beverly? Why do I need one when I'm walking out of Hobby Lobby? Because I'm so distracted by all my yarn. Is that what it is? Um, but you know, if I had a gun, I would want to be well trained on how to use the gun. I would probably want to be kind of like, I watch, NCIS. I would probably want to be, like a sharpshooter or something to know if I had to shoot at a target, I wouldn't miss because I would hate to shoot and miss. And then I think I'm definitely getting killed now that I have shot and missed. But I haven't, Beverly, I have not ever been in a situation where I thought I need a gun. I hadn't been there, thank God, and I praise God for that because I know people have been in some really bad situations, and some deaths have been prevented because people had guns, and some, if they had guns, may have been able to save their lives. Uh, Rachel said, neither do I, best friend, only because of the grandkids. I would die if they got a hold of it. And I got other stingers that bring you to your knees. Okay, you got other weapons that will bring you to your knees. Okie dokie. Let's see. I had another question. Um, Okay, we talked about the open care and we talked about the red flag laws and we talked about and so what do you think about guns in our community? Do you think that they are more helpful or more harmful? Or is there some nuances in there that you can't just say black or white? Tell me what you think about guns in the black community. And do you think that guns are not really the problem? Because a lot of people who say guns don't kill people, people kill people. Do you think that the availability of guns, the accessibility of guns, um, in our community, and thus far we've probably talked more about legal guns, but like I said in the beginning, I think the guns that are purchased illegally are that is probably more of the issue here. Accessibility is a problem. Yeah, yeah, because you have young people, like you said, Jason. You think the age to purchase a gun should be 25 years old, but you have 8 years old, 12-year olds, young kids with guns. It's harder to get allergy medicine. Yeah, because you got to show your ID to get some pseudoephedrine. You got to, but you don't have to show it. Well, you do have to show an ID. They say you do have to show an ID to purchase a gun, but that's it. And if you're buying one from the man off the street, I'm sure he's not. All he's asking for is money. He's not asking for anything else. He's if you got the money, he doesn't care how old you are. So let me ask the question again. Do you think that guns are more helpful or hurtful in our communities? And what do you think about the fact that in countries where guns guns are illegal, citizens don't have the right to bear arms, that their murder rate is so much lower than in America? Do you think the accessibility of guns, obviously it does. I mean, there's a correlation. Obviously, there is some correlation between the accessibility of guns and the much higher murder rate that America has than most other um, nations that are on the same uh, uh, um, what do they call 'em? Y'all help me with my verbiage tonight. Um, they're not third world countries, but anyway. Um, so so what do you think about that? Um, do have we gone? Do we need stricter gun control laws here in the United States? Have we gone too far? Have do you think that your or my right to bear arms has in some way interfered with another person's right to life? Does that has that it's also capitalism, guns and ammo, and the entire gun industry is big business. It is huge business, and that's why the NRA is so powerful. Um, And what do you think it will take? Like we said, stricter background checks. What do you think? We look at all these school shootings and we think, okay, this one is the one. Sandy Hook, when all the little babies got killed. And then you had people who went out, told lies that this didn't even happen. These people just making this up. And then we thought Parkland, Florida, the kids were all out there advocating for tougher gun laws. Um, it didn't change anything. What will it take to make at just background checks, restriction? Like Jason, you were explaining to us the difference between the number of rounds that a person might have in their gun, in their AR, the restrictions on the cartridges that you can purchase to use a AR um, 15. What what will it take for us as a nation to push push hard enough that our um, politicians listen? Because right now the majority of Americans want tougher gun control laws, but like you said, the powerful NRA pushes against it, and they get in the pockets of the politicians, greasing their pockets, and so the politicians yield to what the NRA wants. What will it take for us to change that? Anybody got any ideas? Not stopping anybody from bearing arms, not stopping anybody from owning guns, but making sure or doing our very best to make sure that guns stay out of the hands of those that really don't need them, those that have serious mental health issues, those that are too young to make good decisions. Hey, Tamika Penn, I still have your hat, baby girl. So you let me know when you want to come pick it up because it's been cold. It has been cold, and I know you have needed that hat. Anybody have any ideas on that? I think about MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and they went up against the alcohol industry, and that's big business. But it took the soccer moms getting fed up and said, we're not gonna take it anymore for all the drunk driving and the DUI and all those tougher laws. Is it gonna take something like soccer moms getting angry enough mothers saying enough with our babies dying in mass numbers because somebody who everybody knew shouldn't have a gun had one, and went and shot up a school. Is that what it's going to take? Enough moms getting mad. And I hate to say it, enough moms losing their babies for us to say we have to do something different. Your right to bear arms does not supersede my child's right to live or my right to live. What do you think? What do you guys think? Anyway, I am just so grateful for um, everyone who has come on tonight. I am so grateful for all of the sharing, all of the opinions that have been shared. Jason says, but as far as Black people, I think we need to stop glorifying or excusing criminality in our families. And we need to educate our young men on the setup. The judicial system is designed to destabilize our community and put our people back in slavery. And you know what, Jason? You hit on something, and I was just about to tell you all about next week's conversation. Next week's conversation, we will be talking hopefully with the founders of Huddle, which is Hold Up the Light, and Huddle um, is a nonprofit that focuses on recently incarcerated. What, Tiffany, you still on here? Help me out, help me out. Those that were recently the reentry of those that were recently incarcerated, and we're going to talk about incarceration and our in our communities, and how we can help the lower the recidivism rate, and we can stop, Jason, some from going into the penitentiary in the first place, not just the recidivism rate. So hopefully Miss Beverly Christian and Miss Tiffany Williams will be on with me next week as we talk to those. They are the founders of Huddle. And like I said, Huddle is Hold Up the Light. It is a nonprofit, and it focuses on the formerly incarcerated, helping to educate them, helping to employ them, and helping to reduce the recidivism rate of those that have been incarcerated. So join me next week for Let's Talk. Thank you so much for the in-depth conversation tonight. And I don't want us to just talk about these things. If you can, if each one reaches one, then we can make an improvement in our community. Like I said, my motto is I am walking by faith. I'm walking by faith, and I am instilling hope and showing love all along the way. Reach out to a young person, someone who may be at risk. Reach out to them. That's my challenge for you today. Someone who may be at risk of misusing a gun, or who may be putting themselves at risk of being a victim of gun violence. Reach out to somebody and talk to them. Show them some love. Embrace them. Let them know that they are valuable, and that the person that they may be beefing with is valuable. That beef will be gone tomorrow. And if they have used a permanent solution to solve a temporary problem, then there is no turning back. Some things that you do, you cannot recover from, or you cannot, I won't say you can't recover from, because all of us can recover from a fall, but some things follow you a lifetime. Thank you guys so much for joining me on Let's Talk. I am just so pleased with the dialogue tonight. Let us try to make our communities better. Even if you're no longer living in the Black community, still remember those that are and do your best to reach out to them. Um, do your best to just reach out to them and touch somebody. I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. And I pray God's blessings, much blessings, many blessings, and much love to each and every one of you all. Join me again next week. Good night.